So our father just recently passed away, and we were working on cleaning up his house, and we came upon this amazing pile of hats. And we thought how appropriate, because our dad was a man who wore many hats throughout his lifetime. So we thought we'd just do a little storytelling about our dad through his hats. So I'm going to start with this one. These are in no particular
These are
order.
randomness.
Yes. This one says Kauai, Hawaii. So when we were teenagers, our dad took us to Hawaii and took us to Kauai actually, and I fell absolutely in love, and that's actually the reason why I ended up on Kauai. So my dad would visit us from time to time, and this is symbolic. This is symbolic of our dad taking us to Hawaii.
This one says Nepenthe and Big Sur, and one of our favorite memories is going camping with Dad and Gord and Eddie and the whole family in Big Sur. And on one of our trips, Ed was famous for catching a baby raccoon that we had to bring home because he also got bitten.
Yes, but Nepenthe's is also this amazing restaurant and a beautiful store that looks up all over the coast of Big Sur. I totally fell in love with it too, and actually lived on in Carmel for a while, in part because of how wonderful our trips as a family were going to Nepenthe and Big Sur. This one is Yosemite. When we were little kids, Dad used to take us to Yosemite with Mom and the whole family, and he'd set up these elaborate tarps and create this very private campground.
Negating nature completely.
It was like we were introverted campers.
We're still introverted campers.
But he taught us to absolutely love nature, actually, and going to Yosemite was one of our major wonderful.
Tuolumne Meadows was our very first camping ground.
Actually, we have a really good story for this too.
Next hat.
Is it?
No, one of those hats. We have more Yosemite hats.
We do? Okay, we'll say that.
Sorry, it's a good story.
I don't
Sorry.
know what that one is.
Okay, Surtas, I know this. Dad worked at Hughes for 100 million years, and Surtas was one of the projects that he was working on and possibly in charge of. And so it's some kind of a defense industry thing.
Yeah, so that's the other hat Dad wore. This one says New You Books, and so Dad was very supportive of me as an author and Mom as a want-to-be author, and he also was interested in creating videos and documentaries, and he created one called Worship of God in the Form of Mother Kali, and he used to go to Book Expo America to just research and understand the whole book industry. So I think this came from Book Expo America.
And as part of that filmmaking, this is a National Geographic television in Jackson Hole. Do you want to tell us because it's your story?
Well, my husband also makes films, and we go to the Wildlife Film Festival in Jackson Hole all the time, and so we got Dad a cool National Geographic hat because he was a photographer and a world traveler and an adventurous documentarian. I just made that word.
That's a good word. Do you know any of these?
I don't know, hold on. This is Avid. Dad was also a techno geek, and so this one is an Avid one for technology. This one was one we got my dad at a Blue Ocean Film Festival because my husband and I are divers, and Dad was a film guy, so we got that.
I think these are
one for
actually
Dad.
Eddie's hats, both of these.
Yeah, we think these are our brother's hats, not our dad's.
Apple. Dad was the Apple genius of the universe. He joined the Apple Club and wore his Apple hat religiously and knew everything about computers and was our guru in terms of setting them up. We still have some of the original Apple computers.
In fact, we have all of them. But he was absolutely a Macintosh or Apple devotee.
An Apple devotee.
And this is from Steamboat. Dad had nothing to do with Steamboat, but my husband and I went to Steamboat and got him that hat.
How about that one? Do you know that one?
I don't know why.
Oh,
he
we
hasn't
went to
done it.
New York and
Oh,
we
yeah.
bought him that hat. Forget
We went to New York for her
him.
50th birthday, and we brought him back a hat
Oh,
from New
but
York.
this is a good one.
This one's another
Okay,
one
you
of
go.
the Jackson Wildlife Film Festivals.
World Peace, the human approach. This was a visit to the Dalai Lama. Not only was he a Hughes guy and an Apple guy, but he was also a Dalai Lama guy.
Yeah, and we went to several Dalai Lama
Events.
yeah.
You get to do this.
Excuse me. So this one says right brain, left brain, Socrates. Our dad was a brilliant mind. He had an incredible gift for right brain thinking. I think you're gonna need to turn that off, Debbie.
Sorry.
He had a gift for right brain thinking, and he had a gift for amazing talent for left brain thinking then. So this was his balanced brain. Unfortunately, he went from being an absolute amazing genius to having dementia. So this one kind of breaks our hearts, because if I were to sum my dad up in any way, it would be brilliant.
And creative, intelligent,
creative,
whole brain.
Whole brain
And
brilliance.
he knew he had dementia, which really sucked.
Yeah, it was really hard.
He was also Santa Claus. He was the best Santa Claus ever.
He was the best Santa Claus. All right, you got to tell this one.
Okay, but then you do that one, okay? Okay, this is another Yosemite hat. Okay, this was such a good story. Mom and Dad on their honeymoon went to Yosemite, and so probably when Dad he wasn't driving anymore, even I took him on a vacation to go see Yosemite. So we went and visited all of the special places. Chime in.
But because he told us that when Mom and he were younger, they agreed that if one of them were to die, they would meet at the top of Bridal Veil Falls, right?
At Glacier Point.
Excuse me, so go ahead.
At Glacier Point. So we took him to Yosemite, and you've got a picture of Half Dome. We went up, we were all excited, it was in April, and we were all excited we were gonna take him to go meet. I'm gonna start crying, it was after Mom had passed away. And we're gonna have to
Okay, so we were gonna take him up to the top of Bridal Veil Falls just to see if something happened, but we got to the top to the road and it was closed because of the weather, and so we went, well shoot, what do we do? So we went to a lookout, and we're watching Bridal Veil Falls, and my sister and Laura and I were praying for a sign from Mom, because it just,
she needed a sign. It seemed like it was so frustrating that it was blocked off, we couldn't get up there. So we sat there at
the lookout,
looking towards Bridal Veil Falls, you know, right at the point where you come through the canyon and it's like the whole valley's right there, and you're looking at Bridal Veil Falls and you're having an attack, and all of a sudden the whole waterfall turned into a rainbow.
all the way up from the bottom to the top. It started at the bottom and it just moved
Went
its
all the way up to
all
Glacier
the way
Point.
to the top.
It was
And
magic.
it was magic. So that was our magical taking Dad to see Mom in Yosemite story.
This is our terrorist dad. He also
He wore this one a lot. It was nice and warm and fuzzy, but he definitely looked like, what is it, Ayatollah or something.
Yeah, it was cute.
This one's a sound cord. He was a sound man.
Movie studios.
Movie studios.
Before he even got out of high school, it was World War II, and all the men were at war. So he knew everything about radios and sound and technology. So they hired him in the movie studios to be the sound technician.
And he worked with Dale Evans and
Roy Rogers.
And so this represents that part of his life. Asilomar, Mom and Dad. Asilomar is a beautiful retreat center, I think, up in the Carmel area. Mom and Dad used to go to conferences up there together, and they loved it. So he brought this back from there.
AE is initials.
Yeah, otherwise known as American Eagle, but to us, it'll always be Albert Eschner.
In case you couldn't figure it out, he was the archetypal Caltech genius. He got his bachelor degree in Caltech, and we'd always go to the reunion day every year, and I'm gonna start crying again. I'm losing it, sorry. And he'd show us his dorm room and where he snuck Mom into his dorm room, and it was really, really, really sweet. So,
Yeah.
But Caltech was his place, and he actually took classes from Linus Pauling and saved me from having to have an operation because he wrote to Linus Pauling.
Yeah, he was a genius, Caltech
Yep.
genius.
France.
France. I think I brought this one back for Mom and Dad, or actually they did this one because they went on their anniversary, didn't they? 50th anniversary?
50th anniversary.
They went to France for their 50th anniversary and came back with this hat for that occasion.
Museum of Modern Art in New York, but it's really Mom, Meg, also.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know what that one is.
Nope. Astronomers.
Oh!
You do it. Okay, so this is your story.
So Dad was really interested in the total solar eclipses, and actually I met my husband because Dad took us all to Hawaii in 1991 for the total solar eclipse, and then unfortunately we didn't get to see it because it clouded over, so then he had to go all over the world looking for total solar eclipse. So this represents his interest in that kind of thing.
Maui Legends.
Maui Legends, because I live on Maui.
Stonehenge, because we went to Stonehenge and got him a hat, because
Yeah.
it's a great place.
Sundance, because he's interested in filmmaking.
Should we end it up?
Hat.
Should we end it up?
Yeah, let me do one more. This one is from Peru. This mom, he actually took mom to, was it Peru or
Yeah.
Ecuador? Peru to go look for the total solar eclipse. So this one is symbolic of his adventurous spirit and world travels, going around looking for culture. Oh, look, it's got a hole in it. Culture.
That's okay, there's another
and
one.
art and eclipses.
Science.
Science. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can do that one.
And this is his Ohm hat, where not only was he a Caltech genius, not only is an Apple Club guy, not only a world traveler, but Ohm was where his heart was. And he was president of the Vedanta Society of Southern California for 20 years and lived and breathed that tradition in a way that was extraordinary.
And he taught us devotion through his whole entire life till his final
From beginning
breath.
to end. And we feel very, very blessed to have been able to have him be our dad.
And now we get to wear his hat.
I want that one.
And this is how it rolls.
You can have it.
That was great, Dad.